Even look this way.
Actually, I really wasn't trying to say walk in and be. Some of the work cars are in the day. Some of this work.
Thank you.
Call this meeting to order Tuesday, January 24th, 2023, Mason County Board of Education regular business meeting, agenda number 22-23, here at the Mason County Board of Education office at 6 p.m. All members are present. Please stand for the pledge led by Mr. Billings.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Delegations, we're going to start with 302. Then we'll follow that with 301. So we have Maria Ischenauer, Lisa Bryant, and second grade student leaders signed in.
We are the second grade student leaders from Point Pleasant Primary. January is School Board Appreciation this week. The work you do is very important. We appreciate how well you care for us. We appreciate your service to our school. Please accept these cards as a thank you from all of us. Thank you very much.
Yeah, Sam might tear up here. This is the sweetest thing. Thank you so much. Thank you, guys.
Maria, what about taking, maybe getting a picture?
Yeah, we get pictures of the next real
And you guys all spoke so well. Come up here for a picture. Do we want to see it? We don't want to block you. You guys come, just bring it up there and share. We don't want Mr. Shea to block.
Here, make it look good. There you go, that's good, right there.
Thank you guys so much. I think this is the nicest thing anybody's ever done for us, at least since I've been here, for sure the nicest thing. Yeah. Thank you guys so much. Yeah, thank you, parents, for working.
That's awesome. All the time. Here a long life. I was gonna say, you've been here a long time. I've been 60 years. No, yeah, 6 years. 6 years. Yeah. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna save these and replay one every time.
Great, great.
Second grade. Second grade. It looks like maybe the whole school week. Kids are not graders over here.
Yeah, there's.
So we'll move back to 301, open public discussion on creating the 2023-24 school calendar.
Hi, my name is Dr. Bond. I'll be leading this discussion this evening.
Nice to meet you, Dr. Bond.
Nice to meet you as well. I believe, I don't see anybody to discuss anything. Do you guys have any questions you'd like to ask? I think you all have the synopsis that Dr. Burdett prepared for you. I did notice on the bottom of the synopsis one day at the meeting, our last meeting, somebody had asked about the writing assessment dates or the testing assessment dates. Those dates are on the bottom of the page. We don't have the SAT dates for 2024 yet. Those will be announced in the next, well, probably by spring, certainly by the time school's out. The state is rebidding the high school assessment. It's the SAT bid is up. That contract is up, so they're rebidding. They're going through the rebid process right now, which is why we don't have dates for the SAT. Next, the writing assessment, what's a little different is that the writing assessment is in a different window than the ELA and the math assessment. They're doing that because, well, I'm not entirely sure why they're doing that, to be honest.
They just are.
I'll call Vaughn Rudy up and have him explain it to you. But it has to do with writing prompts and getting those together, I think. So I'm happy to answer any questions on the calendar for you at this time if you have any.
The question, I know that yesterday was brought up about people want a 4-day thing, but I don't think under the current policy, there's any way you can do a 4-day.
I will defer that answer to Dr. Burdett.
You know, that question, I heard that question asked, and so I did a little research with the State Department of Education. And it appears under the current statutes, we couldn't do that. Because the response was that the issue is we have to have 180 separate days of instruction or equivalent time. So you can get by with fewer days, but you have to lengthen the school day by an amount to equal the equivalent time. And so So then I asked, so what about remote learning days? You know, is that a possibility if you made every one day a week a remote learning day? And under current statute, the State Department of Education does not support remote learning days except as part of the non-traditional instructional days and extenuating circumstances, was the message that I got back from the State Department of Education. So it appears that under the current statutes, that's really not an option. Now, if something was developed and there was a pilot or some revision made that made that an opportunity, then it could be considered. But really, based on the information I got from the State Department of Education, it doesn't appear that that's an option right now.
I don't have any questions. I just appreciate, yet again, you making it more simple to look at than the colored boxes.
Sure. And actually, most of that was Dr. Burdett, so.
There's a nice variety too, so. You have any questions?
Thank you.
Great.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you. I'm just gonna stay up here.
What if we wanted Mrs. Farmer first?
Oh, I am more than okay with that. In fact, we had an argument about that earlier yesterday. Who's gonna do this?
Consider reports. 401, update on student academic performance. Dr. Kenny Bond, secondary curriculum director. Melissa Farmer, elementary curriculum director.
I believe you all have a 2-page presentation in front of you with what looks like a bunch of percentages on it. I'm going to take you through that. The first page that is there is our iReady numbers from our 2 diagnostic assessments that we've given this year. The first column is the diagnostic that we gave in September of this year with the percentage of students that were on grade level. This is in reading. You will notice that those numbers are less than stellar. The next column is the percentages of students that are on grade level as of the second diagnostic that we gave in December. The next column is the percentage of improvement by grade from first diagnostic to second diagnostic. And I'm going to stop right there for just a minute and see if you have any questions about that. You can see that there was significant improvement in most of the grades from the first diagnostic to the second diagnostic. The next column is the percentage of students with improved placement. It's important to understand that in the iReady diagnostic placement pattern, they have 5 placement categories that they put students in. Those are students who are mid or above their present grade level or testing at that level. Next one down is early on grade level. So in other words, if a student was in 7th grade and tested at the beginning 7th grade level, they would be in that category. The next one is students who are 1 grade level below. Then there's 2 grade levels below. Finally, there's 3 grade levels below. So it's important to understand that when you look at that next column where it says percentage of students with improved placement, those are the students, the percentage of students who have moved up 1 category or more from the first diagnostic to the second diagnostic.
At least 1 grade
At least, it's exactly right, at least 1 grade level they've moved up.
Oh, wow.
So those numbers are very encouraging. Our largest category after the second diagnostic through all the grades and the entire county is students who are 1 grade level behind, which, given the issues that everybody in the state and country had after the pandemic, is encouraging to us, despite the fact that if you look at our middle of the year numbers, they don't look outstanding. However, the number of percentage of students who have moved up a grade level and the percentage of students who are in that middle grade or middle of the year category there that gives us a great deal of optimism for the GSA and the diagnostic, which takes place then again in March, I think. The next category that we included was the diagnostic, the very first diagnostic that we gave last year, November 2021. We came to the iReady program what would be considered late. We weren't in it in time to give a traditional first diagnostic in September. So that's our first diagnostic that we gave in November of last year. Those are our percentages of students that are on grade level. And then finally, we compared that with this diagnostic that was given in the same time frame, calendar speaking, this year. And you can see the change from one year to the next. If you turn the page, those same categories apply. This is in math. First page was in reading. And again, we're very encouraged by the students who have improved at least one grade level from September to December. If we continue on that, that path, we'll be doing pretty well.
If I could stop just for a second question.
Yes, sir.
When you say they moved the grade level, is there a way to tell, because like I get a lot of feedback that, say we got a sixth grader, and we'll say they're in reading and, well, on iReady, they're really on a third grade level. Well, they moved to fourth grade, which is not good. We need to get sixth. Well, we didn't move. But when we say, well, to me, I'm not happy with that because we can always go back and say, well, we had COVID or we got this or that. That's in the past. We got to get where we're getting. I think this is a good tool, but is there a way to tell, okay, well, we was in second grade, now we're third, but we're sixth grade? Is there a way to, I mean, we're still behind. We made progress, but.
With iReady, the way that it's set up, so you move from your sixth grader, you test on, so it's testing the mastery of the grade level standard. So if you're a sixth grader, you test on a fourth grade level. They're testing if you mastered the standard. So if you have moved up.
The sixth grade.
Yeah, so the diagnostic, what it does is like we just finished the second diagnostic. So iReady, it'll say this sixth grade student is on a fourth grade level, but it also groups it for the teachers to say, here are the skills that these students lack. And it even provides lessons for the teachers to utilize. It groups the students by proficiency if it identifies struggles, and then after it identifies their struggles, iReady will provide intervention. It will automatically put those, like it'll go down a couple grade levels in the lesson. It's built that way, but it also has to be paired with instruction. So it groups it
On grade level instruction.
Yes. So at the elementary level, that's where we're focusing on intervention. So if you look at core instruction, it says that 75 to 80% of our kids should be mastering our grade level standards. We're not there. We're just not there. So you look at how do you strengthen the core and look at your instructional practices, and then you also have that separate intervention time. That's where the elementaries pull using this iReady data and the lessons to say, okay, this is a sixth grade kid. They lack these skills. So during that intervention time, we're going to pull these small groups and we're going to start plugging those holes. We're going to start scaffolding and differentiating, because all the standards are built on a progression. If there's a kindergarten standard, that standard is built on all the way to that kid gets to the 12th grade.
Those interventions are designed to fill in the gaps of knowledge that the students do not have, in conjunction with moving forward in the standards of knowledge that they do have that are on grade.
And iReady 3.6, it's the only tool we have right now.
On the intervention, who monitors that?
The principals monitor that, but it's also put in their master schedules. We've done a lot of work with our intervention time, but we have a lot more work to do.
Like I said, I'm gonna talk to you later from a parent standpoint.
No, yes.
Because I don't believe that's happening.
No,
in a
I,
lot of schools, and I know, or I can't say every school, but I know one school for sure. And it's really affecting the class, and it needs to be fixed. So
well,
I
Dr.
wanna
Britt
talk
and
to
I
you
have
guys.
had some conversation. Because of this second diagnostic, it has kind of heightened the awareness, because I think sometimes we just move along and think we're just really, everybody's working hard, we're growing, and then you actually get some feedback from our students, and it's like, oh no. And we have the tools, we just have to make sure that those tools are being utilized in the time that we have set forward. So there's a lot of work being done right now. The elementary principals are coming in on the 31st, the principals and the assistants, to work with me for that very thing, to outline their ELA blocks, their math blocks, what's the intervention supposed to be, what's it supposed to look like, and then setting those parameters. Are you utilizing iReady? Is it Dibbles? Because we're a little bit all over the place right now.
Thank you.
And we've already done that on the secondary level, as far as talking about how their intervention periods are designed. It's a little different than the elementaries are, simply because of the way secondary schools run. But we've already done that. We've already had those discussions. And in fact, principals are looking at new and varying schedules that they can put in place next year to make those more effective.
I understand where Mr. Billings is coming from, because like on the math, the percentage of students with improved placement, most of them are scoring in the 30-some percentile. So that's 1/3 of our students who are improving. And I see the 8th grade has 45%. That's not quite reaching 50% of our students who are improving.
Who are improving a grade level.
Oh, okay, a grade level.
That's correct.
And then, so, over on the far right, from December versus November 21st, it just shows we have an awful lot of work to do in math.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
agree.
Yeah. And there's nobody here to pull the wool over your eyes to tell you that that's not the case. We absolutely do understand that. Our principals understand that, and our teachers understand that as well.
And I know I have teachers telling me all the time, we had such a deficit, such a huge deficit that we have to make up for. So I understand their job is unbelievably hard. And,
But like Dr. Bond said earlier, when you think of one grade level below, I mean, when we talk about the deficits, one grade level below, yes, that's significant. But when we get intervention correct and we get those things the right way, when you're looking at how many of our students are in the yellow, green is, we're good, yellow versus red, we have so many kids that are in that yellow, that if we can get our practices where they need to be, I really feel like we're going to move these kids. But we have to put those things in place. They have to be monitored. And a tool like iReady just gives us some feedback and data.
It gives us
where
some
our
clarity.
kids. So, like he said, we have a lot of work to do. There is work to do. And I told Dr. Burdett today, these are not just percentages. We have kids tied to these
That's right.
numbers. These represent little human beings in our buildings. And we can't just look at these numbers, this as a number. These represent our kids. So, and that's a lot of the conversation we have in this office.
Well, I'm glad you brought up the collaboration again, because this is a lot of really good data, and I know we're just getting a snippet of what is really what you guys see. And I think by using this, and once we can get that collaboration, because that was the question, are teachers collaborating? Are they grouping the kids together with the likes, using the data? And I don't think we're quite there yet.
They're not.
From hearing it. But I think once we can do that, I think it's not the teachers, it's not the kids, it's not us. Like, it's all here. It's figuring out the puzzle and fitting it all together, and to make teaching more purposeful, to get it all to fit and to do it well. I mean, because we can teach off the textbook, we can teach things that are going to be on the test, but that's not really what the child is capable of doing. And we're seeing what they can do, and they're improving, and it is good to see improvement and we're moving in the right direction. But I think once we can really dive in and get these teachers and able to collaborate, because right now all I'm hearing is teachers saying, I don't have time. And I know they don't, they're up to their eyeballs in everything right now. That if we can figure out a good way to get
We're working on it.
moving, that it's gonna take off.
And that's one thing with already that I've tried to support in our schools is because, after our second diagnostic, it regroups all of our kids. And if you have 5 kids in group A, then there are lessons and all the teacher has to do is print those off. Some of those are even scripted. They don't even have to go look for something. I mean, the activity, the lesson, it's right there for them. So.
Now, is this something that even we could, I'm thinking on the elementary level more, but is it something too, like where we see the kids are, where you said these are these lessons that teachers could pull different grade levels together?
We have some of our elementaries is looking at the walk to intervention. They're doing some of that stuff where you may have a 3rd grade teacher or 4th grade teacher and the kids kind of switch during their intervention time based on the academic needs. They're still working on those standards. So we do have some of that work, especially in our smaller schools where, they need that extra body. So
I think it's important to understand as well that when Ms. Farmer is talking about groupings, that this program not only groups them according to their weaknesses on grade level, it groups them according to their weaknesses by standard. And so that's really important. Those groups can change and flex based on who's weak in, say, phonemic awareness versus phonics, those kinds of things.
One of the big things I've noticed this year compared to last year is that this year people are much, much more intentional in what they're trying to do to address these deficiencies. I mean, I think the first year that we rolled this out, it was like, oh, look at this neat little toy or this little diagnostic that we got. It'll give us some indication. Now I think as we get farther along with it, people are starting to unpack it, start to understand it a little more, and some are getting a little more comfortable with what it can do, digging a little deeper, and it's a progression. It's not going to happen. It didn't happen overnight, and we're not going to pull out of it overnight. But the progress we're seeing is really, really encouraging. But just as I talked with these two earlier today, every one of these kids, when you see that, you got 28% of the kids are proficient or something like that in a grade in a particular subject. As a parent, do you want your kid to be in 28% or the 72% that's not there? And so, and that's what we've talked about. These aren't apples or matchsticks, these are kids. So we need to be, intentional and driven. And I tell you, I have to really compliment the work of these two, our principals and our teachers, because they really are trying to figure out how to do this, because now we have a more, consistent source of data that's being fed to them kind of on a regular basis. And they can start to look at this and say, okay, this is encouraging. We can see the growth, but we still have a ways to go. And it's going to take a while.
Now, I know that when I was in the classroom, we would use our CFAs that we created during our PLCs, and we take our information that we got from the CFAs, and then we would make intervention groups. And then on Friday afternoons is when we would have the groups, and the different kids from the different classes would disperse to the area that they, the level at which they had placed or scored, whatever, on the CFAs. So you're saying that rather than the CFAs on these intervention groups, you're going to use the data from this to help us.
Yes, and we have DIBELS and already for K2, but 3-6 we only have already. That's the only tool we have right now. And because the students are utilizing it every single day, teachers can go on, much like the CFAs, they can go in and assign lessons for the students as they teach a standard. So they can also assess them that way.
I know we're talking yesterday, meeting with Senator Grady, we mentioned the concerns of the teachers who said, please, we need more aides in the classroom. And I think what they were wanting is, in order to be able to have people to help with these different levels, more personalized work with the ones maybe who need more help than others. And then we can't forget the ones who are excelling and still need to be pushed forward. That's one of the things we brought up, that the teachers want more help in the classroom. Hopefully they'll listen to that.
Anybody have anything else?
Thank you for putting this together.
Thank you.
Great, thank you.
You guys, everything I do.
Thanks for. Yeah.
501, recommend the board approve the regular business meeting agenda number 22-23 of the Mason County Board of Education, January 24, 2023, the Mason County Board of Education office, Point Pleasant, West Virginia, for the purpose of conducting regular business. Motion, Mr. Billings. Second, Ms. Tennant, discussion. We'll be pulling 12 and 1402. Mr. Shea, did you have anything?
No.
Mr. Billings?
1401.
Mrs. Becker?
No.
Mrs. Tennant?
1102, I'll stay on that.
All right, so we'll be voting on everything other than 1102, 12, 1401, and 1402. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 5-0. 1102, recommend the board approve the ratification of check number 115091 to Rhonda Tennant in the amount of $400. Motion, Mr. Shea. Second, Mr. Billings. Discussion. Please. What?
Discussion.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 4-0-1 with Mrs. Tennant abstaining. 12, superintendent's report.
Good evening, everyone. Just give you a few items here. First of all, I want to give you an update on the hand and gym floor. Cincinnati Flooring started work on that on Monday, January 9th. They've removed all the damaged flooring and the subsurface all the way down to the concrete. So they've had to do are going to have to do just a little bit of leveling, but the wood is already on site and being acclimated to the environment, so that project is moving along really well. So appreciate the patience of Hannah and the adjustments they've had to make to accommodate for the absence of that floor. Today, a film crew from the West Virginia Department of Education videoed 2 of our teachers at Roosevelt Elementary for their work with the Literacy Initiative. Paige Roush and Kimberly Hunt were videoed, and that seemed to go very, very well. They're building a library of some outstanding practices and people helping other teachers understand how to teach literacy and use some of those strategies. And so those 2 were nominated and were videoed today. So that will be going up on the department website. Today, the board office was the venue for the Point Pleasant Chamber of Commerce luncheon, and there was a very nice turnout in here, and it was really nice to have the community and business leaders in here, and they wanted to express appreciation to the board for letting them use the facility. So that worked out very, very well. Last time that we were here, I told you about Point Pleasant and Wahama having teams in the Regional Academic Showdown in Huntington at Marshall University. That was on Saturday, January 14th. I went down for the competition. Our teams did not advance. There were a number of teams that were there. They did not advance to the state competition, but I really want to compliment them. They represented schools very, very well, and one of the Wahama teams won 3 matches before getting eliminated. So they hung in there and fought for a while and finally got eliminated. But it was a real neat competition. And just what was interesting too was to hear the coaches and folks talking among themselves of our folks saying, yeah, this is really a good thing. Maybe we ought to consider looking at other honor bowl or quiz bowl type events that we could participate in. And so, I mean, it stimulated that kind of thinking, and there were students there that may not have participated in anything like that before. So it was a really neat experience for those folks. As Mrs. Tennant mentioned, Senator Grady invited us to come and visit yesterday with her. Of course, she serves as chair of the Senate Education Committee. And so Mr. Shope and Mrs. Tennant and I were able to meet with her and discuss some of the topics that they are considering. And it was really a good conversation. I mean, it was probably an hour and a half, almost an hour and a half conversation. And they also had one of the attorneys there for the Senate Education Committee. So we were going to have some conversations about that, and I really appreciate the opportunity that we had and the invitation to go down and speak. It was a very, very good meeting. Just a few other little things. We got a health fair coming up on February 1st. That is a day, but it is it's a PLC faculty senate day. Students are not in school that day, but from 10 till 2, which is close to right around lunchtime there, either right before lunch, during lunch, right after lunch, at Point Pleasant Junior Senior High School, our staffs from the various schools drop in there and participate in the health fair. The day after that is on February 2nd, Groundhog Day, is the regional science fair, which we're hosting here at the board office. So we're looking forward to that. And then finally, I'll mention one other thing to you. The state superintendent called the county superintendents to Charleston last Friday for a meeting to discuss a few things. But there were two really primary topics I want to share with you. One of them deals with this big initiative toward literacy right now. And they had a neuroscientist who was there and spoke to superintendents about, with a lot of substantial research about the development and function of the brain and how the brain responds to instruction and literacy and how reading impacts all forms of learning. It was a very, very interesting thing. Now that there's a big push on about the science of reading, and you're going to hear a lot more about that. The other thing I wanted to mention to you was something that's a campaign from Game Changer. Now, Game Changer is an organization that strives to prevent students from using opioids and other drugs. And at one point in time, I mentioned to you that there was an exhibit at the Cultural Center back in the fall that had been brought in from the Drug Enforcement Agency. Game Changers kind of helped arrange that to be, and I think some of our students actually got to go and visit that. But their latest effort is one that's called One Pill Can Kill. And it's just now getting ready to be rolled out in schools. This is a scary thing. Research shows that 60% of the pills that are obtained on the internet or on the street are laced with a deadly dose of fentanyl. 6 out of 10. And some of these counterfeit pills are just almost impossible to distinguish from real medications. It's a frightening thing. And so what Game Changers has done is put together a 35-minute video, and so the state superintendent showed it to all of us. And it's a powerful video. It's going to be made available to, it's really intended for grades 6 through 12. And there's some accompanying materials to help with that. But it's a really good video that stars Mountaineer basketball star Meg Bolger, who played for WVU a few years ago. But anyway, she interviews some West Virginia students and introduces the kids, and they're from various schools around the state. And the kids ask questions about fentanyl and things like that. And then, it kind of follows her as she goes and then tries to get answers to these questions. And there are interviews with police officers, there's interviews with parents who've lost a child to fentanyl overdose, and it's just and even an inmate. It's a powerful video, and that will be rolled out before too much longer. So that's a new campaign they got out. So if you see in billboards or something like that about One Pill Can Kill, that's what it's about, because somebody may not realize that the first one that they may ever choose to take might be the one that ends up life. So, because there's so many counterfeit and lethal dosed pills out there. So anyway, didn't mean to end on such a somber thing, but that was a powerful thing, and glad the state superintendent invited us to go down and to learn more about it. So that concludes my report, Steve.
Can I ask you,
Sure.
and I know that we were told this, but what is the estimated complete date on Canada's floor?
The last we heard was it'll be 6 to 8 weeks when they started, so I'm going to say it's going to be probably the 3rd week of February.
That's good.
I'm just shooting in the dark right now, but with the wood there, again, they were assessing it the past day or so to figure out how they're going to have to, because there are a few places they're going to have to level out the concrete just a little, and then they'll start putting the foam down. So I think it'll go down fairly quick. But then, a lot of times you have to wait. I mean, when you're dealing with this stuff, you got to put it down and you have to wait, and then you put your first coat of finish on, and you have to wait, and then you paint and you wait. So I mean, there's a lot of downtime as you wait on this. But normally you don't have to wait a couple of days with sometimes 3 days with like an oil-based finish, and this is an oil-based finish that they're using on this. So I'm going to project late February and third week of February, fingers crossed. I think by 1st of March it'll be.
Well, I'm really glad we moved to, that you guys went ahead and get started on that. That's great. If you get it finished in February, that's wonderful.
They had a few days of concrete having to actually do, I think.
Absolutely, yeah.
And that's, I was down there last week and they said the concrete is what they have left it dry.
And I wanted to comment on the videos that were done today at Roosevelt. I'm really proud of our teachers, but I'll tell you something else. I'm very proud of Judy Browning because Judy Browning, I just happen to know that she saw the opportunity. You know, she was at some activity meeting, whatever, and it was mentioned that they were going to be selecting teachers. And immediately in her head, she said, I know two perfect ones. And she took the time to write to them and say, hey, you know, if you're really gonna do this, I know two teachers who would be great for this. And their videos are going to be on the state website. I actually can't wait to see them.
And I'm glad you mentioned that because she did play a pivotal role in getting, nominating those people. And as I was out there today when they were doing the video, she said, this isn't about me, I don't get it. This is about these teachers and what they're doing. But I appreciate you mentioning that because kudos to her for seeing that opportunity and putting those folks out there in the position that they could be videoed. So it's an exciting thing. We need to be proud. We've got some wonderful, wonderful people in our county right now. We really do.
She sees the opportunity.
Absolutely.
And it just was the right time.
1401, discuss property matters. Motion, Mr. Billings, second, Mr. Sharp, discussion.
Discussion that I'm bringing up is on the property matter of Central. I don't know if you all have been down here lately, but it's time to move if we can, get this place, get rid of it. Reason being, it is nasty, if you will. I know it houses our junior high wrestler. There's no showers there. You don't really have a locker room. The safety of the homeless, broken glass, copper stolen. I'd like to see, I know you said they're doing some kind of something still, marshal or something.
Yes.
But if we can get something going to maybe get this golf going and see if we can sell it, but then the question comes to, what do you do with the junior high wrestling? Of course, people always are going to complain, it don't matter. But yeah, my son wrestled, but this has nothing to do with that. Megan's husband's a coach, has nothing to do with that. We've got to put up something up there at the vacation, in my opinion. Some kind of a building or something to house these kids. It's a safety issue. It'll help with transportation, not have to transportation these kids back and forth. Hearsay that some of our Career Center teachers so they can get a lot of their kids that can help put this together, save us money. So I don't know what the process we need to do, but I'd like to see maybe if they're wrestling or somebody can get a committee, put something together. If we can move this and get them something up there and get rid of that, because that down there is nasty.
What's wrong with the building we got? We got a restroom building. We built one over there, we have to figure out how to get bathrooms, water, and all that in it also,
It's not big enough for you. It's not big enough for you.
Well, I know, but he's talking about middle school.
Yeah.
Middle school and
Already you wrestle in their own gyms, I'm just saying.
So you got the high school and the middle school's gonna have to go home for 2 hours.
It's basketball.
I don't know what they got 2 gyms.
Well, girls and boys, I say what those boys do, middle school and high school boys, they say they practice it and they go home and something else go back. I mean, I'm just saying it's a thought, if we can get them out of here, we get
Something
something.
down there.
You know what I'm saying? Because we'd have to find a place to build it.
But I agree, it's time to move.
Yeah, it's been time.
It is, yes.
But it's just,
Well, I don't want to do it if we
Before
can't.
something else happens.
right, and we can't do nothing, we get some kind of,
No, you got to do something.
But the junior high has a place right now, so I don't want to move it, take it away,
Till it goes.
and be done.
I
You
thought
know, like,
that's
I don't think
what
that's
we
fair.
did, and that's what was wrestling.
What is it?
I thought it was when they built the building, it was a wrestling building for our, because there's our junior high and high school's always been together. Not wrestling, we was a little building down here.
Have you been down there for the youth? Because there's like 90 kids down there, and that's not gonna house our youth, so.
It's in middle school.
Middle school, what did you do?
Well, I understand, but the middle school and
Yeah, I'm not arguing it, I'm just saying that. Our middle school goes to school up there, I would think the same thing our basketball does, and, football, middle school, high school footballs, they practice and then the other team practices. But I'm just asking, I don't know.
No, I said,
Some people worry about showers and stuff like that, because.
yeah, it's fancy.
Yeah, the doors are rusting out now, but there's like big rust holes.
So do we have to wait until that study is complete to start looking at?
No, you wouldn't have to, it would just be something that I think might enhance the sale of it. And actually, Chris Reiser was here today with Main Street, and who helped make the connection on that. And I told Chris, of course, we had some damage to the building. I said, how's that gonna impact? And he said that won't change what that brownfield study will be. And he said they hope to be in there in February to run that, to do that study and to do that feasibility study. And again, all it is, it will generate a document that you can give to prospective buyers that'll say, if you chose to purchase this building, here's some things, or here's some possibilities, and here's how much it would take to renovate it if you wanted to turn it into, A, B, or C, or whatever. But this group basically takes on these kinds of properties, these projects, and they do this. I mean, if you want to move on it before you got that report, you can certainly do that. But it's just another document that might assist with that. And, at one point in time, I thought, so what if we were trying to move that, knowing that, the gym is used for wrestling? Do you wait until you have a home, or do you try to sell it and say, and put in the bid that, the building can go, but the wrestling stays until, a certain time period while you can't touch the building, the new owner can touch the building, do anything with it until you get a different facility or get something worked out.
Because I'm sure.
You can, or you can sell
the
them.
sell each your building.
It might bring more money if it was sold as one parcel, but we don't want to switch to that home.
But like you said, if you might deter somebody that wanted it, if they can't get it at the same time also.
The only place, or besides that one, which I know I spoke to you, I haven't been in all schools, but several schools I've been into lately, the cleanliness it's not good. I was at a basketball game here not too long ago, and I've had 10 people come up to me. What has happened to our schools? Instead of pride in the schools, keep these schools clean. Trash out in front of them, which has been there forever. Something got to be done. I mean, we're lucky we got the levy passed for however long it's lasted, 29, because people are starting, taxpayers are looking at this, they're starting to say, what are you all doing? I mean, it's nasty. Like I said, I'm not saying every school, I haven't been in every school, and I've been in some other schools that are just spotless. But there are some out there that are disgusting, and like I said, I know you're going to look into address it, but something's got to be done.
I was in one school today and had a conversation.
Yeah, and it's something like I said, I know we're short staffed and everyone is, but we've got to figure something out. So that's it.
All right.
Actually saw a Facebook post from somebody that graduated from our county a few years back that had come back for a weekend and made a big Facebook post that kind of went along with everything you just said. They moved away from the area, but we're a little disappointed when they came back. All right, 1402, recommend the board discuss and take possible action on upgrades to security systems in all schools. Motion, Mr. Show, second, Mrs. Tennant, discussion.
I like that, executive.
So, Mr. Show makes a motion to go into executive.
I'll second.
Seconded by Mrs. Tennant, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 5-0. We'll go in at 6:47. Get up there.
And we'll call it, maybe, because it's a big deal.
Yeah. And there could be action. Right?
Yeah, it could be action, so it's good for you to figure out.
All right, so we have to move to the other room. Mr. Henry, will you join us? Sure. Thank you.
all-nighter problem. They're windy, I will talk long.
Nah, I don't believe that part of it.
Yeah. Shoot.
Yeah, right there.
There's nothing
There's no way that we can survive. There's no way it would take 2 hours. All the trucks. Even with all those tiny towns in there. Yeah, speed tracks. Oh, thank God. Too funny. So let's check. 2 answers. And, 3 of the ones that only had 1 right, got enough 1 right. So I've got 3 of them, have 2 of them, 2 questions right. I feel a little better about life. On the other hand, several of the ones that we thought had 1 right don't anymore. Yeah. Is what it is.
Just, it's shocking. In a way, but not really.
Yeah, not really. Not really. Not really. I thought that one went.
Thank you. You did a great job explaining. You always. Yes. So. And I have this, you want to leave. I'm not have to stay anyway. I want to leave.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I have to stay. It's my night.
Okay.
I don't think they'll need you.
I think security clearance, I wouldn't think.
I think so.
Gary went back in the meeting with him.
You're welcome. Just hang in. You've got a ways to go. I have to stay.
Well, I gotta get Kim ready to go to the hospital in the morning.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she's just ready.
Oh,
Yeah. So, I don't know.
those are words.
My text keeps me some things.
You can always listen to it on your phone if it comes back.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you. All right, see you, buddy.
All right, you guys need to adjust them.
Yep.
Yes, sir. Here it is.
It is, The guy that works with, that is a good color, is,
Yeah.
there's the, it's just easy, actually, you test out and if everything.
Oh, it's
My dedicated staff. Bless them. Bless them.
That's it.
Right, do I have a motion to return? Motion, Mrs. Bill, Mrs. Cutter. Oh, I'm tired.
Just again.
Is there a second?
A second, yes.
Mr. Billings. All fair say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion passes 4-0, recommended at 8:00.
Yeah, I mean,
Regarding 1402, the main motion that we went into executive regarding, we have decided to not take action on that this evening.
Okay, well, we got, let's first meet. Yeah, I mean, just leave it on the.
1501, recommend the board adjourn regular business meeting agenda number 22-23, January 24, 2023, for the Mason County Board of Education Mason County Board of Education Office of Point Pleasant, West Virginia. Motion, Mr. Shea. Second, Mr. Billings, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? We're on an 8:01.
I tried to get put on that one. I was going to get, she had today, number two, again, now, that was a check, see what you done. You can't get that, but